Less than a month after being elected, Tim Sheehy traveled to Israel to record an ad for AIPAC. He just broke Brian McGinnis' arm for saying nobody wants to fight for Israel. A whole ad? And you said he traveled to Israel, so it's not like one of those creator deals where you read the copy or nothing. He did the... I ain't never been flued out for no ad. That's commitment. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. So there I was on my way down to Texas and Senate primary. Nah, I went to get the $2 gas.
There is a gas station in Texas that lowered its gas below $2, and they did the math wrong. Now, the owner of this gas station is a huge MAGA, huge MAGA. He was losing money on his gas. That's how much he wanted to support Taco. And they did the math wrong. He thought it would cost him like $4,000 or $5,000, $300,000. Now he has to file for bankruptcy. $300,000. He was losing so much money on gas because he could claim that he had gas below $2 a gallon that it's now bankrupt him because his accountant, who's his wife, did the math wrong, and it's cost him over $300,000. You can't make this shit up how ignorant these people are.
Yeah, you left out the most important part. What happened to all the gas? Now, I don't care about his bankruptcy. What happened to all the gas? Because if he was down bad, he might have been moving that gas for less. I'm here if he got some barrels he want to unload. Matter of fact, he could mark them down to 176 for 1776 if he want to be a real patriot. How about he mark it down to 47 cents for the 47th president? How about he mark it down to 34 cents for 34 felonies? Why not 3 cents for third marriage? I can do you one better. How about 1 cent for one concession speech? Huh? Now, I know Trump has never given a concession speech, but you ain't seen Wesley Hunt yet?
It's looking like Ken and John are heading to the runoff. I wish them both the best of luck. I really do. Clearly, the people of Texas have chosen them. And I listen and I obey the people that I work for. So that at the end of the day, I wish them the best of luck in this runoff. And then whoever chooses or whoever the people choose to go to the general election, they will have my undying support on top of that, because we have got to keep Texas red.
Texas, y'all down bad. Come on, Texas. Y'all got that man. Wesley, I know they didn't put you on the financing chart, but y'all didn't have no more sign money? They just giving y'all little printer paper? That's what y'all doing? Well, that's what happened. You blew all your money on boots. You blew all your money on boots. That's what happened. Now, you may recall a statement that Trump made previously about the poorly educated.
I love the poorly educated. Keep
that in mind. Hegseth orders end to Pentagon-funded attendance at several elite universities. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced that the Pentagon would stop sending military personnel to certain elite universities for graduate-level education starting in the 26-27 academic year. The announcement named Princeton, Columbia, MIT, Brown, and Yale, and it described a broader review that could extend to additional schools. Hegseth delivered the announcement in a short video posted on X. The announcement followed an earlier decision to cut ties with Harvard, a Pentagon news release stated in February, describing severing academic ties and ending military training, fellowships, and certificate programs connected to the school. Hegseth also posted about Harvard on X using the phrasing, "Harvard is woke, the War Department is not." Actually, Hegseth, I believe Trump has already told us exactly what it is.
I love the poorly educated.
Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I am a Columbia grad, And one of the reasons I went is because I can't fight. I'll be honest. I went because I can't fight. You know what I mean? They're like, if they were looking for fighters, I don't know that the Lions is really where you want to be. You know what I mean? That's why Columbia all the way uptown. You know what I mean? Because they knew if they had Columbia around the general population, we would get pieced up by all the NYU students and Fordham and whatnot. So that's why they have us, you know, we unto ourselves, you know what I mean? Because we can't fight. But here's the thing. It's one thing for me to hypothesize on Trump and his love of the poorly educated and how that manifests itself with him pushing illogical narratives on the American public. But it's quite another when you quite literally sever ties between elite universities and the military, but you're not doing it in the administration, are you? Let's see, Pete Hegseth himself holds a BA in politics from Princeton and a Master of Public Policy from Harvard University. I'm sure they would like to have those back. I'm sure they would like to have those back. Man, he probably went to less classes than me. Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary, graduated from Yale. Jameson Greer, a U.S. trade rep, holds a BA from Harvard. RFK graduated from Harvard as well. And Stephen Miller is a graduate of Duke. We got our Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, who has an MBA from Stanford. Kash Patel earned a certificate in international law from the College of London. And Kristi Noem, who graduated summa cum laude from the School of Hard Knocks. You tried. Yeah, you tried. So let me get this straight. We want to sever ties with elite universities when it comes to the military, but that's not going to prevent you all from going or sending your children there. I mean, it's pretty on the nose at this point. It's pretty wild and on the nose at this point. So I don't know what else you would possibly want me to take from this, because
it's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
You, alongside with your media partners over at Right Wing Inc., have made a point of demonizing, what was that? Educated white women specifically. And I certainly know that we can't educate ourselves into being qualified, not unless we wear a red hat. So something about the critical thinking that just doesn't jive with today's MAGA. Because I can't imagine what that might look like if you had soldiers who could critically think for themselves.
Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
His hand. Oh, his hand.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door.
The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Sir.
Control your Senate.
Arm stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Hand stuck.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk. What did you say? Senator? That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
Everybody sit down, please. Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
This is Brian McGinnis, who had his arm broken by AIPAC-funded Republican Senator Tim Sheehy. McGinnis showed up in Washington, D.C. this morning for all Americans who felt betrayed by our government starting another war. Quote, anybody who feels disillusioned and betrayed by our government, you're not alone.
Hey guys, I'm here in D.C. trying to speak out against the Senate and ask them why they're going to send our men and women to harm's way when our elected officials said that there would be no war. Anybody who feels disillusioned and betrayed by our government, you're not alone. Join us in demanding accountability for this betrayal. Free Palestine, free America. Let's go.
And from the looks of it, he certainly has the support of the timeline. And this is on X. I can only imagine what the Nick Fuenteses of the world are going to do with this.
So this is taking place during a vote on a war powers resolution to constrain Trump's ability to escalate or expand the war or even continue the war in Iran. And so you have this Marine show up to the hearing protesting. And as a matter of fact, this is the Marine. A lot of people don't know this. He actually delivered that report, I don't know if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, about the systematic killing of Palestinians in Gaza. So last year, it was a huge scandal that Israelis had permitted some humanitarian aid to get into the Gaza Strip. And there were rumors and reports that they were shooting some of the civilians in the back as they tried to get the aid, as they went to the aid site and they tried to get supplies. This is the Marine that actually exposed this. He actually delivered a military report and reported that, yes, this is an eyewitness account. He saw IDF shooting at civilians unarmed trying to get aid. It's the same guy, at least that's what I was told. And to me, this is just a picture of America right now, which is you have a U.S. Marine. These are the people that are actually prosecuting the war, actually fighting the war. These are the best of us. These are people that voluntarily give up their life, potentially, risk the ultimate sacrifice for the good of the country. And they're being sent out now into, like you said, yet another ridiculous regime change war in the Middle East for Israel. And that's what the guy says. He says, look, we don't want to die for Israel. Americans don't want to die for Israel. And look at the way that he's being treated, literally dragged out of the chamber by the cops. A U.S. senator jumps into action like you said, like a disgusting, jumps in the middle of the action trying to get this guy out of there. They smash his hand in the door. That's the picture of America.
Now let's circle back to that senator, because that comment said that he was AIPAC funded, and knowing that that's something that's publicly available, he wouldn't be that obvious. I mean, that would be like the military severing ties with elite universities after the president said he loves the poorly educated. Like that would be that obvious.
I love the poorly educated.
Less than a month after being elected, Tim Sheehy traveled to Israel to record an ad for AIPAC. He just broke Brian McGinnis' arm for saying nobody wants to fight for Israel. A whole ad? And you said he traveled to Israel, so it's not like one of those creator deals where you read the copy or nothing. He did the... I ain't never been flued out for no ad. That's commitment.
I'm Tim Sheehy. I'm a recently elected U.S. Senator from the state of Montana, and I'm here as my first act as elected senator to show our allies in Israel and the broader allies throughout the Middle East that America still has a commitment to this region, and there's no question that America stands with Israel, stands with the men and women of Israel, and of course we'll do everything we can to make sure the IDF and the men and women of the IDF have the best gear, intelligence, technology, and support they have to get this done.
Now, I told y'all during the primary election night, we need to do something about this system. This what happened when you give Montana 2 representatives. Ain't no way. Montana got 2 representatives and we sitting here bigger than them with zeros. This what happened. This is exactly what happened. Tim Sheehy, I hope you got rid of them receipts, because you know they love to pull up them track AIPAC charts. Up, here they go. Sure enough, got my man in 4K. We got the amount received from the pro-Israel lobby at 135K, and we have the amount spent by the pro-Israel lobby and their mega donors at 641K. That's that money that Wesley Hunt needed. Yeah, Wesley Hunt could have got him some better signs if he would have been on that. I know they didn't spend that money on Wesley Hunt signs. That much I do know. Tim Sheehy, care to comment? It's looking bad out here. Yeah. We all synced it.
I synced it.
Capitol Police were attempting to remove an unhinged protester from the armed services hearing. He was fighting back. I decided to help out and de-escalate the situation. I'm sorry, sir. Did you say de-escalation? Yeah, that's going to be a community note right there. Yeah, go ahead. You got a community note. The senator describes this as de-escalation, but full vid reporting shows he joined officers by physically grabbing the Marine's leg and then his arm breaks. Reports say the protester was treated for an injury after. The Marine did not come to start a confrontation. He protested. Man, that happened on Elon Musk's website. Not even they were able to contain this. Not to mention, you guys wavering support of Capitol Police. Oh, now y'all want to help Capitol Police. Now we are pro-Capitol Police. What do y'all do? Throw dice and decide whether y'all are pro-Capitol Police or pro-insurrectionists? Is that what happened?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Now, how do the Capitol Police know whether or not you support them to the point of actually physically getting involved or cheering on them fighting for their lives? Like, how do they? They should get hazard pay. That's a precarious situation to be in right there. You know, not knowing if y'all are friend or foe. That's wild. The amount of mental gymnastics it takes to be in MAGA these days is pretty insane. And you know what? Not everybody can flip like that. Yeah, we learned that during the Olympics. From Matt Walsh, I can't take the gaslighting, guys. I really can't. Conservatives are now running around saying Iran has been waging war on us for 47 years. Okay, then why didn't any of you guys call for an attack on Iran at any point until now? Why didn't you make the case for Trump ending the war, not starting it, until precisely the moment when Trump did it? You and I both know that you're latching onto a talking point you never used until 45 seconds ago. You and I both know that almost every conservative influencer in the business was opposed to war with Iran until just now. And now you're trying to use justifications that stretch back decades. It doesn't make any sense. If you change your mind, fine, say so. Explain why. You're allowed to change your mind. I've changed my mind about things, but don't try and rewrite history. Be honest about it. There's too much at stake to play these games. Now, Matt Walsh, I would agree with you, but you putting out the possibility of that volume of people magically changing their minds during the same weekend about Iran when there is so much existing content and stances to the contrary, that's a game. You know what I mean? That's a game. Come on, man. What are we doing? Try again. So far, we've heard that although we killed the whole Iranian regime, this was not a regime change war. And although we obliterated their nuclear program, we had to do this because of their nuclear program. And although Iran was not planning any attacks on the U.S., they also might have been, depending on who you ask. And although we're not fighting this war to free the Iranian people, they're now free, or might be, depending on who seizes power. And we have no idea who that will be. The messaging on this thing is, to put it mildly, confused. See, where you messed up at, Matt Walsh, where you messed up at is the thinking. The thinking is that's where you messed up. Trump already told you how to play this game.
I love the poorly educated.
Because the thinking is how you caught this.
The United States conducted this operation with a very clear goal in mind. I haven't got a chance to see a lot of reporting. I don't understand what the confusion is. Let me explain it to you, and I'll do it once again as clearly as possible. Perhaps you'll report it that way. The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. I'll leave it to the Pentagon and the Department of War to discuss the tactics behind that and the progress that's being made. That is the clear objective of this mission. The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond and respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
Matt Walsh? So he's flat out telling us that we're in a war with Iran because Israel forced our hand. This is basically the worst possible thing he could have said. See, that's where you keep getting messed up, man, Walsh. You keep shortchanging this administration. He and Trump 47. He can do worse.
Yesterday, you told us that Israel was going to strike Iran and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked you a question.
No, were you the one that, because somebody asked me a question.
Boy. Oh, no, wait a minute. Run that back.
Yesterday, you told us that Israel was going to strike Iran and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked you a question.
No, were you the one that, because somebody asked me a question.
Were you there yesterday? To the woman who asked the question. These are the people conducting a war. There's a reason why the groundwork was laid of poorly educated. That's what it requires to stay on board. And you know what, MAGA? I am loath to give y'all credit for literally anything, but I do appreciate that him openly throwing out the poorly educated and then moving precisely that way was not a bar too high for some of y'all.
But how did this tiny country with no resources and 9 million people convince the world's great superpower with the greatest military in history to do its bidding in a way that was going to hurt it? Well, again, many layers to that question. But the most obvious and immediate answer is because Bibi told the president of the United States, you can join me or not, but I'm going. And the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said this in a call to congressional leaders yesterday. He said, Israel said they were going. And at that point, you really only have two choices. You can get on board and try and help or contain Israel's war. That's part of the calculation here. Israel's going. Let's try and keep this within bounds. Let's try to be a moderating force on this adventure, whatever it turns out to be. Or you can tell Israel no. And they'll just do it. And if they did it, that would not protect us because there are hundreds of thousands of Americans in the Middle East, both in uniform and out, civilians and military personnel. And they're also the world's most important oil projects, energy infrastructure, oil and gas, which has more than any other factor a determining effect on the global economy. So everybody needs their oil and gas, period. You can't change that. Sorry. And so if that infrastructure is damaged or destroyed, it affects all of us, everybody, but us. So you can't just let Israel go and do this. Now, of course, there's a third potential theoretical option, which you say to Israel, which is a client state, which we pay for, whose creation we made possible. You say, no, we're not doing that. I get it. You don't like the Ayatollah. You don't like Iran. But this is bad for us, and we're not going to let you do this. And if you do it, we're going to, I don't know what, cut off aid, something. We can apply the pressure that is inherently ours to apply since we're paying for all of this. But that was not even on the table. That's never been on the table. No one has ever in the last 63 years considered doing that. Really, the last president to do that was John F. Kennedy in 1962 when he got in a not as famous as it should be, dispute with the founding prime minister of Israel, then the prime minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, over Israel's nuclear program at Dimona. And then President Kennedy said, no, I don't believe in nuclear proliferation. This is one of the pillars of my administration, and you can't keep testing, and I'm demanding inspections. And of course, he was not able to make good on those promises because he was killed in November of 1963, and the person who took his place, his vice president, Lyndon Johnson, gave a green light to the Israeli nuclear program. So that was the last time an American president said no, a hard no to Israel, tried to restrain its core ambitions, not like, be nice to the Palestinians in the West Bank, but no, you can't have nukes, or no, you can't, bomb Lebanon or whatever. That was the last time.
Well, if Tucker Carlson's on board, I know Candace can't be far behind. Because not only is this right up her alley, but she loved jumping. She loved jumping. I knew kids like her in elementary school. They always the second one in.
It is not my business to affect a regime change in Iran. It's simply not our business. It doesn't impact us one way or the other. And we also are completely done with the idea that with these decades-long idea that we're doing it to spread democracy because we believe in international liberalism. There was no imminent threat to the United States when Trump made this decision to do what Bibi wanted. And I want to be clear here. This was not Trump's decision. It was Bibi Netanyahu's decision. And that is the reason that he did it. And we're very aware that Israel is dictating our foreign policy, and we would now like that to stop.
Okay, but you wouldn't disagree, presumably, that Iran has been the main sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East through the Houthis, through Hezbollah, through Hamas. I mean, that's widely accepted and recognized. They've done
Widely accepted. No, that's just kind of...
Really? You don't think they have?
Has been a terrorist state. Okay, Israel right now is imparting a genocide and a Holocaust on the Gazan people. So I'm really over this idea like somehow Israel has the moral high ground and we have to get behind them.
I didn't say that.
Because we've got to go after the bad guys.
I wasn't saying that.
We have.
Oh, hang on. Look, we can come to Gaza where I think we'll reach agreement about what Israel's government's been doing there in the last few months. But
it's relevant. If you're going to call Iranians terrorists, if they right now had an open concentration camp where they were mass killing their own people, we would all be saying this is ridiculous. So it's rich to me that people are concerned about Iran having nukes. But I'm concerned about Israel, who won't even admit that they have nukes, having nukes, while at the same time they are executing a genocide and a Holocaust in Gaza that the world is watching. So who's the bigger terrorist is the question today. I would say as an American that if we're going to get behind a regime change, it should be in Israel first.
Hey, Candace, you better be careful. You better be careful out there. You gonna mess around and agree with Nick Fuentes. I'm just saying, you remember what he said. So careful. Y'all beating the same drum right now. You're gonna have to accuse him of being born a woman or something.
Like, I can ignore some stuff and hold my nose with Trump, but quickly, by the hour, I morally cannot be part of this. You're already there saying vote Democrat. I get you're saying that as a carrot and the stick, but what the hell's going on here?
I think you have to. I think you have to vote Democrat in 26, and I'll tell you why. We're being told always that the Republicans are the lesser of two evils, that they're going to be marginally better than the Democrats. Look at all of the broken promises. Epstein files, that's huge. It's huge. And let's be honest, they tried to cover it up. It's not like they fumbled that. It's not like they made a mistake. They engaged in an active cover-up, and they failed only because of a revolt within their own party. And now Marjorie Greene is an outcast. She was like the MAGA congresswoman. She was like the one in Congress who came after Trump won the election. She's an outcast because she led the coup to get the Epstein files released. That's a big one. Then you got the deportations. They haven't started on the border wall. And even though they secured the border, look, they secured the border in 2020. What good did that do when Joe Biden came into power? Nothing, because then he just overturned all the executive orders and they came pouring in. That's why you need the wall. They haven't started it. 230,000 deportations. It isn't happening. And now we're in a regime change war with Iran. You've been around. I've been around not as long as you, but for some time. Regime change in Iran is like synonymous with the neocons' ultimate master plan. That is like the number one thing on Israel's wish list.
It's the jewel in the crown. It was the whole Middle East strategy and the Rebuilding America's Defenses PNAC plan 2020 2000 was this.
Yes, and even further than that, going back to clean break in 96, this has always been the plan. For me, I said, that's the last straw. I'm out. And you know me, I'm the furthest thing from a Democrat. I'm far right. I'm not left wing or even liberal. I don't consider myself even a center liberal or a right liberal.
Let's talk about that. Democrats get in. Isn't that accelerationist?
No, I think that, I don't know that I would characterize it as accelerationist. I would characterize it as corrective.
I don't know. Because they say one apple spoils the bunch. You bring a Fuentes in and all of a sudden people saluting out of nowhere. And I don't. We do need numbers though. What y'all think? 10 out of 10, no notes. This is going to be a disaster. I don't feel Nick Fuentes is a guy we want on the Dem side, though. Hopefully he removes the Dem label and takes on independent. So hell has frozen over. Rats on a sinking ship. These guys are disgraceful and despicable, but in this instance, popcorn. I mean, how is he even going to initiate contact in a moment? What do you say when you show up to the party, Nick Fuentes?
Where the bros at? I'm trying to bend.
Our country is under a hostile occupation that sends its own brave citizens to kill and die on behalf of a foreign country. It's time to put aside all differences with all people and unite as Americans against the occupation regime. America first. Put aside all differences. Wasn't this you?
What's my problem with Trump? My problem with Trump is not that he's Hitler. Okay, my problem with Trump is that he is not Hitler. All right?
That's quite a big difference, isn't it? Huh? Like me accidentally ending up on Our Time or Farmers Only. I don't know if we can bridge that gap. I don't know if we can bridge that gap. You know, I don't be wandering on White Date. Oh, they shut it down? I'm just playing. I know they shut it down. But I do appreciate all the drama that you call. Hey! I do appreciate that. To you, Nick Fuentes, Tucker, Candace. Yeah, I know you stay over there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Well, we did it. We finally hit another milestone.
Yay! Hey.
Hey, put your shirt back on. What you think, you in the cabinet? That's right, we passed 700. I ain't been this excited to pass 700 since I took my SATs. No, that was just on the math section. I didn't have a whole 700 score. Well, see, the SATs used to be out of 1,600. You know, I'm not going to explain this to y'all. Y'all got me explaining the olden days, got me feeling old. I talk about the good old days and I get up limping for no reason whatsoever. Wikipedia is your friend.
Yeah, boy.
And as we always do, we gonna party. But I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to all the people whose work have led us here, starting with our editors, Denzel and Boz.
What? Bro, let's get straight to it. On my mama, we lit.
If y'all got issues with any of the videos, y'all blame them.
That's cold-blooded.
If you like it, then I did it, because I be editing sometimes too. You know when I edit because the audio be all over the place. You know, the audio get loud for no reason. That's how you know that I edited something. And of course, I want to give a shout out to my man, David Threefall, who is not only responsible for all of the thumbnails, but as well as creating the intros and the outros for Street Politics and Troubled Waters and Races of the Week. He did them all. Who Raised Y'all? He organized and created all of those intros and outros that you see and enjoy on the channel. So shout out to him. And by the way, if you're looking for any of that kind of stuff, make sure you give him a shout. I need One day I'm going to show y'all some of the outtakes, some of the rejected scenes from the creation of all of those. That might have to hit the members channel before too long. But if you're looking for any of that kind of work, you can hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com and I will pass you along to him. Of course, our head moderator, Mrs. Ray, always keeping things moving and keeping things on point. Shout out to her, as well as for organizing my email.
Yeah!
Wouldn't nobody get answers if it wasn't for Miss Ray. Y'all just be like seeing an old classmate in the grocery store. I'm just going to keep it pushing. If he don't see me, he won't miss me.
What do you mean by that?
And of course, where would we be without Regina doing the Lord's work on research? She reaches far and wide, and all of the ways in which you guys always talk about how the clips are always on time and relevant, and all the videos are so in depth and you get so much good context. That is thanks to Regina. So shout out to her. But she been sparing Ohio. I've been seeing how y'all been moving Ohio. Regina's trying to protect you. It ain't gonna work. I got something for you. I got something for you. Of course, I want to give a shout out to all of our current mods, including lovely Nola, Deshauna, Kristen, and I believe Mimi is on the way as well. Shout out to her. And of course, I got to give a shout out to all the people over at Patreon, especially the people that keep the Patreon chat moving. Did y'all know we have a 24-hour Patreon chat? Patreon.com/ReeseWaters. My man TP and Daniel Witters and Keith Green and Treva, so many people out there, as well as people that actually go from Patreon to YouTube and back again. April Hughes, Denatra, Joyce Samples, Sarge Tech, Roberta, all you guys so much. I really appreciate all of your support, all of your love, all of your encouragement, keeping this channel going and get us pushing to and past 700K. 700K? What, they think we buying Nicki Minaj bots? That's too high.